Lot's wife did not die because she looked back. That's the easy reading, the convenient reading, but it misses something fundamental. Because in the story of Sodom and Gomorrah, the punishment is not the mystery. The real mystery is why she was still looking at all. Most people interpret this moment as a moral failure, a disobedient glance, a single act of curiosity that crossed a line. But that explanation is too small for what happens next. Because she doesn't simply look back, she becomes something else entirely. A pillar of salt. She's not killed, injured, or wounded. She's preserved. And that detail changes everything, because preserved things are not destroyed. They are fixed, frozen in time, conserved, unchanged. The ancient world already understood this relationship with salt. Salt wasn't just seasoning, it was preservation, a way to stop decay, a way to hold something in its current form. So when Lot's wife becomes a pillar of salt, it may not be random symbolism. It may be the most precise image the story could use, because she isn't just being punished, she's being preserved in the exact moment she refuses to leave behind. Frozen inside the past she cannot release. Which raises a very different possibility. What if this story is not about punishment, but about psychological attachment at the moment of collapse? Sodom and Gomorrah are usually understood as cities destroyed by judgment. But cities in mythology are rarely just geography. They are systems, structures of identity, ways of living that define who you are inside them. So when the story says the cities are destroyed, it is describing the collapse of a world. And most interpretations focus on escape, on survival, on leaving. But leaving is not the hardest part. Separation is. Because you can exit a place physically and still remain fully embedded in it psychologically. And this is where the story becomes precise. Lot's wife is already out, already safe, already moving forward, and still she turns back. That single movement reveals something deeper than disobedience. It reveals attachment at the exact moment attachment should end. The past is not chasing her. The city is already gone. There is nothing left to save. And yet, she looks back. Which suggests the story is not about danger in the environment, but danger in orientation. It's about where attention goes when a world collapses. Because when something ends, the mind does not always end with it. It keeps reconstructing, replaying, re-entering what no longer exists. Because it is familiar, and familiarity is one of the strongest forces in human psychology. Even when it is tied to suffering, even when it leads nowhere. So God's command in the story is not arbitrary. Do not look back. Not because the past is forbidden, but because attention splits reality. One direction leads forward, outside the city, and the other keeps you emotionally anchored to what is already dissolving. And in transitional moments, that split is enough to stop transformation entirely, which is why the punishment is not described as injury, it is described as freezing. Again, salt does not destroy, it halts decay by stopping change. So what happens to Lot's wife is not random symbolism, it is exactly what attachment does under collapse. It preserves a person in the state they refuse to leave behind, not physically, but psychologically. A fixed identity formed around something that no longer exists. And this is where the pattern becomes recognizable. People who leave relationships but never leave them emotionally. People who escape situations but remain mentally inside them. People who move forward in life but keep one foot in a version of themselves that is already gone. Externally, they continue, but internally, they remain stationed, looking back at something that is no longer there, and not realizing that in doing so, they are no longer moving at all. Perhaps that is why this story survives to this day, not because it describes divine punishment, but because it captures a very specific human failure, the moment when leaving is complete, but letting go is not. And the question the story leaves behind is not why she looked back, but what part of you still does.